So normally, I'll do a review about a full show or a full movie and tell you what I think about the characters along the way. But this video is different. The show itself is Avatar: The Last Airbender. This show was released in 2005 on Nickelodeon, so most of you I know have already seen it, or you've just rewatched it like myself on Netflix. So this video is going to have spoilers. Okay? Okay. After my second time around watching this show, I discovered that it has a critical character. And this video is about him. He stole my heart and taught me about life, and that character is Uncle Iroh. The uncle we wish we all had. Yeah, this is a great show with incredible characters and incredible character development, but Uncle Iroh stands out as one of the greatest characters I've ever seen in all of fiction. On the surface, he's this lazy old man that lost his honor, and he's shamed by his family and his entire nation. In reality, he's one of the most gangster bad motherfuckers alive, but he's not interested in being a badass. He cares about being humble and helping others and drinking good tea. But if he has to, he will shoot fire from his fucking mouth. Let's fill in some history from Iroh's past. He's the firstborn son of Fire Lord Azulon and heir to the throne of the Fire Nation. He's a naturally gifted firebender, and he became a great general for his father's army during the 100-Year War. He had a son, Luten, and becoming a father became the passion of his life. He loved his son more than anything. One night he had a dream or a vision that one day he would conquer the city of Ba Sing Se, the Earth Kingdom's greatest city. His father Azulon supported him to take the Fire Nation and attack Ba Sing Se. This battle lasted 600 days, and by this time Iroh's son Luten had become old enough to become a soldier in the army. Unfortunately, Luten died in battle, and the news of his son's death completely broke Iroh. He was so broken that he just gave up. He gave up the war, he gave up his right to the throne, gave up all of it. After all that sadness, he traveled the world and eventually came home to sit in content retirement. Oh, by the way, he also met dragons and learned true firebending from them. And then he said he killed the last of the dragons just to protect the last of the dragons, because he's a good guy. And since he's known for killing dragons, his nickname became the Dragon of the West. And that's why he knows how to blow fire out of his fucking mouth. It's awesome. As his nephew Zuko was pissing off his dad, Fire Lord Ozai, he ended up getting his face burned in shame, and he got banished and told that he couldn't come home until he brought home the Avatar. Obviously, this was an impossible task because the Avatar hadn't been seen in 100 years. Iroh took this opportunity to leave with Zuko and become his mentor in firebending and everything else in life. The decision to leave with Zuko is purely out of love and worry for his nephew. He's very aware of how dangerous the world is for a firebender, and he also understands how important Zuko is and that he's going through some shit and he's gonna need some guidance along the way. He knows that finding the Avatar is an impossible task, but he goes anyway. He leaves his nation and his home behind for his nephew. Who knew that the Avatar would actually show up, In the beginning of this show, we see Zuko treat Iroh like shit. He's this awful, bratty prince that has this huge chip on his shoulder to prove himself to his father. Iroh totally understands this about Zuko, and he's always cool no matter how Zuko treats him. He steps in every once in a while to give Zuko a lecture about destiny.
I know my own destiny, Uncle.
Is it your own destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has tried to force on you?
Stop it, Uncle. I have to do this.
I'm begging you, Prince Zuko. It's time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
But for the most part, he's just chill. He shows Zuko how to enjoy life and be kind to people through his own example. And throughout this show, Zuko transforms from this fucking snot to this smart, badass warrior that sympathizes with people. He has a ton of inner conflict, and Iroh is always there to help him out, to guide him along his journey. Eventually, Zuko figures it out, that he was wrong. His father was wrong. His entire nation was wrong. And Iroh was the one that helped him come to that conclusion. Then Zuko makes the decision to become Aang's firebending teacher and help return balance to the world and become a Fire Lord himself. Not to mention, Zuko confronts his father. His father tries to kill him with some lightning. He redirects the lightning because Iroh taught him that and shows his father out he's a fucking badass. Zuko has arguably the best character arc of the show, and that's because of Iroh and the bond that those two have. Iroh's missing a son, Zuko's needing a father, and the character development between those two, it just doesn't get much better than that. As a person, the best way to describe Iroh is humble. He treats everyone with kindness and he's always willing to help, while also secretly being a bad motherfucker. Okay, watch this clip.
Give me all your money.
What are you doing?
I'm mugging you.
With that stance?
What? What are you talking about? Just give me your money, old man!
With a poor stance, you are unbalanced and you can be easily knocked over. With a solid stance, you are a much more serious threat. Much better. But to tell you the truth, you do not look like the criminal type.
I know. I'm just confused. So you really think I could be a good masseur?
Of course.
This is so great. No one has ever believed in me.
While it is always best to believe in oneself, a little help from others can be a great blessing.
This single scene shows perfectly who Iroh is. This desperate man threatens Iroh with a knife. He's not afraid at all. He knocks the dude on his ass to show dominance and does a cool knife flip. He then helps the guy to be better at his knife skills. Then he just listens to the guy and offers him advice and moves along with his day. One interaction with Iroh changes that man's life. That is the effect that Iroh has on other characters throughout the show. I want to talk about the loss of Iroh's son and Leaves from the Vine, but I can't. It's just too fucking sad. If you know, you know. So part of Zuko's journey is learning lessons the hard way, and this leads Zuko to eventually betray Iroh, and this really hurts Iroh. This betrayal gives Zuko everything that he wanted in the beginning of the show. He got to come home and return to the Fire Nation and become a prince again. But Iroh got locked up for helping out the Avatar. This leads to the turning point of Zuko's character, and he realizes that Iroh was a better father to him than Ozai ever could be. Zuko becomes awesome, decides to leave, threatens his father, says he's going to help out the Avatar and come back and kick ass. Then he decides to go apologize to Iroh and help him escape. But he's too late. Iroh got swole and busted himself out of prison. Iroh left Zuko behind and trusted Zuko to figure out his own destiny. And this decision was also for himself to follow his own destiny. Iroh decides to go take back Ba Sing Se with his own group of Avengers, the White Lotus. Iroh decides to go back to the city where he lost everything. The Fire Nation took over Ba Sing Se, something he could never do. He knows that that's wrong, so he decides to reclaim it with the members of the White Lotus. He succeeds and reclaims the city. His original vision became a reality. It was way later in his life than he thought, but he fulfilled his destiny. When he was younger, he tried to take his destiny into his own hands, and it cost him everything. It wasn't till he had nothing else to lose that he successfully conquered Ba Sing Se from his own nation. That is some good shit right there. Throughout this show, Iroh is able to give advice to every major character, and every bit of advice is impactful. There are a few characters that want him to fight his younger brother for the throne. And yeah, he knows that he can probably win that fight, but he's wise enough to know that that sends a bad message. He knows that if he kills his brother, it will be seen as a vengeful act. He makes it very clear that the Avatar is the one that has to defeat Ozai, because the Avatar's purpose is to restore balance to the world. He basically says, yeah, sorry kid, I can help you, but you gotta do it on your own. Iroh is this background character that slowly helps shape these other characters that physically change the world. And I truly believe that without Iroh, the Fire Nation wins and the world burns down. It's Uncle Iroh. Iroh is the true hero of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This entire show is full of great characters. Iroh's my favorite. Appa is my second favorite. Avatar really is a fantastic show, and I think it's going to go down as one of my favorites ever. Either check it out or watch it again, and just pay attention to Iroh's story and the impact of his character. Who's your favorite Avatar character? It doesn't matter, because they're not as cool as Iroh, okay? See ya. God damn it. Leaves from the Vine is like the saddest fucking thing in the world. It's so fucking sad. I can't even talk about it. How do I bring up this topic without crying?
Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you. Leaves from the vine, falling so slow.
I can't do it. I can't.